All right, welcome back to Unleashed, the most legit Celtics podcast in the game. We got it's getting harder and harder to create some content and think about topics to talk about as the NBA hiatus continues. But I did want to start the podcast saying thank you to you guys for sort of constantly engaging with these podcast tweets that I put out, trying to figure out what we're going to talk about. Today we're talking about Jayson Tatum versus Ben Simmons. Got some great feedback on that, and we're going to dig into it. But like I said, it's getting harder and harder to think about stuff to talk about and just kind of come up with stuff to talk about when the podcast, largely based on the NBA, largely based on the Celtics, both of which are not in action right now. But we do have an update. We do have an announcement. The NBA, May 8th, apparently looking at May 8th to open up practice facilities for teams, which that doesn't mean the season's coming back on May 8th or the season's coming back on May 9th. No, but it's the first sort of light at the end of the tunnel that we've seen. May 8th. Now, obviously, the stipulation is in place that, if your local rules or local laws don't abide by that, you can't do that. But the NBA, for what it's worth, the governing body of the NBA, May 8th is that date saying, hey, we're opening up the practice facilities. Now, I don't believe there's an update past that. I don't think we have an update in terms of, May 8th is the practice facility opening. Guys can get in their practice, and then a month from now, we're going to play. Who knows what that next date is? But I think I said it in either last episode or the episode before this. They're all kind of mashing together at this time. But in one of the most recent episodes, I had said, the one thing I don't like is that we haven't had any update. We're all in the dark. Not anymore. And I mean, yeah, we're seeing a little light at the end of the tunnel. It's a little light. Say it with me. A little light at the end of the tunnel. But it is a light nonetheless. It is not this pitch black tunnel that we don't even know if we're going forwards or backwards. And someone commented on the last show on the YouTube page and said that, no news is good news. It doesn't mean they're extending it out and out and out. I don't think that's the case. I think the world is looking for positives to give and positives to publicize. And the minute you have one, you want to shout it from the rooftops. And the fact that the NBA hadn't really done anything to say, hey, we got some progress being made, that was scaring me. But finally, we got the report that May 8th looks like that's the target date for practice facilities to open up. So finally, we do have a light at the end of the tunnel. Again, it's a small light. It's a little light, but it's a light. So I'm excited for that. I think, the sports world, not even just the NBA world, should be excited for that. It's crazy to think about. It's crazy. I know we had the NFL draft. I know we have the Jordan documentaries going on right now, but a season just up and vanishes. Yikes. But all right, let's crack one open here. This is my attempt. You Yingling. My favorite beer out there. If you guys watch the Shotgun Reviews, you know it. Yingling. Contact me. Sponsor me. Pretty please. But let's get into this Jayson Tatum versus Ben Simmons debate. We're settling the Jayson Tatum versus Ben Simmons debate. It's been a long one. Sixers fans always go with Ben Simmons. Celtics fans like myself always go with Jayson Tatum. And then NBA fans are somewhere in between. Jayson Tatum versus Ben Simmons. It's always sort of been a back and forth, but I'm not going to lie. I'll be unbiased for a second. Ben Simmons has had this sort of, the upper hand on Jayson Tatum, in my opinion, for the past couple seasons. Now, obviously, Jayson Tatum was drafted a season after Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons didn't play that first season, so they've played the same amount of seasons so far. And we'll look at their accolades right away. Jayson Tatum, one-time All-Star and a 2017-18 All-Rookie. This is the annoying part. Ben Simmons is a two-time All-Star. Fair enough. He's also a 2017-18 All-Rookie, but he's got the 2017-18 Rookie of the Year, which he wasn't even a rookie then. I hate that. Ben Simmons, Blake Griffin, there's a couple other names too. They sit out their first season. Oh, my little sore foot, Ben Simmons. But sit out their first season, come back. They've already been around the guys in the locker room. They've been around an NBA team. They've been on an NBA team, literally. They come back, and it's technically their second year just because they haven't played basketball with that jersey on under the lights. And they go out and tear it up like Ben Simmons did. And he wins Rookie of the Year. I'm not really going to give Ben Simmons that accolade. Yeah, in the history books, sure, he's going to have a Rookie of the Year under his belt. But I'm not giving that as like an argumentative point in his favor over Jayson Tatum. So in my opinion, all Ben Simmons has over Jayson Tatum right now in terms of what they've accomplished, accomplishments. He's a two-time All-Star to Jayson Tatum's one-time All-Star. Now, like I said, for the past couple seasons, I feel like Ben Simmons sort of had that upper hand on him, and 100% he had that superstar stigma following him way more than Jayson Tatum. Celtics fans might disagree with that. I might disagree with that. I kind of have always preferred Jayson Tatum over Ben Simmons, but if we're being honest, the NBA world viewed Ben Simmons as a way bigger name, a way bigger star than Jayson Tatum. Now, we're going to talk about it. I don't know if that's the case right now. I don't know. Let's look at their stats for a second, because going back to those first 2 seasons, like I said about Ben Simmons averaged 16 points and then 17 points. Jayson Tatum, unfortunately, averaged 13 points and then 15 points. So, yeah, Ben Simmons, even though he's not a scorer per se, was even averaging more points than Jayson Tatum. And throw in the fact that he averages 8 and 8 too on those seasons, which is right up there with his career numbers, it makes it a tough comparison to Jayson Tatum for those first 2 seasons. And Ben Simmons certainly had the upper hand. But at this point, if you were to compare these 2 players, you have to use what's happened recently. What have you done for me lately? Why would you base this comparison off of the first 2 seasons of their career? It has to be what have you done for me lately? And what have you done for me lately? Jayson Tatum has gone out there and literally shocked the NBA world. Maybe not Celtics fans. We kind of knew this guy is a budding superstar. But in terms of NBA fans, he had a lot of haters, a lot of doubters saying that, us Celtics fans are sniffing Jayson Tatum's farts and saying they smell like roses. Yingling, come on. In terms of this season, Jayson Tatum kind of put the league on notice. I'm a superstar. I'm here to play. I'm here to stay. I'm here to win MVPs. I'm here to win championships. If you look at these stats, if you were to take this one season, say, hey, we've been in the league the same amount of years, here's this player A, and here's player B. Player A is averaging 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. Player B is averaging 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. 1,000,000% of the voters would say, yeah, I would take player A on my team. Especially throwing the fact, and I think this is an interesting little nugget here, throwing the fact that they were both top 3 picks, Ben Simmons being a number 1, so this is even going to pad my point even more. I'm not trying to draft a guy that's going to pass the ball 9 times out of 10 at the number 1 pick. Ben Simmons is a great player. I get it. He's amazing. But Jayson Tatum is the type of guy you draft number 1, or in his case, draft number 3, and build your future around, because why? He can put the ball in the hoop. So, yeah, player A was Jayson Tatum there. Spoiler alert. And I think if you're taking player B in that situation, you got a hard on for assists, and I don't know why. But let's kind of go over what their games are like, and we'll get the obvious one out of the way. Ben Simmons can't shoot to save his life. If I had to kick a basketball from half court into the hoop to save my life, I would take that over asking Ben Simmons to hit a 3-point shot, shooting it regularly. So let's get that one out of the way. We all get it. Ben Simmons can't shoot. Jayson Tatum, he can shoot. So there's 1 point in Jayson Tatum's favor. Again, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy to think that you draft a guy high because you want him to score. That's what the superstars are made of. Sure, you're going to have these guys every once in a while that are amazing passers and they're known for their passing, but what does a franchise really want? If all LeBron James could do when he first came out of school and came into the league was pass the ball, he wouldn't be LeBron James. Scoring is the bread and butter of superstardom. Jayson Tatum has the scoring edge over Ben Simmons. Why? Because 1, he's a better scorer. 2, he has more ways to score. And 3, it's just in his nature. Like, he doesn't want to pass the ball like Ben Simmons. I'm all for a good pass here and there, but Ben Simmons literally actively looks. Plan A, pass the ball. Plan B, try and get close enough to the hoop so I can smell what the rim tastes like and then make my shot from there. So, point in Jayson Tatum's favor just in terms of a scorer. And then, one thing I saw in the reply to my tweet too is people are saying, well, Ben Simmons is the far better defender. I don't know if I agree with that. Now, I'm not going to say Jayson Tatum's a better defender. I'm not going to say that. I think Ben Simmons is a better defender than Jayson Tatum, but I think people sleep on Jayson Tatum's defensive ability. In fact, 5 years from now, I wouldn't be surprised if Jayson Tatum is a better defender. He's finally starting to come into his length, come into his defensive game and his IQ on that side of the court, getting in passing lanes, deflections. I wouldn't really give like a huge nod to Ben Simmons in the defense category. It's pretty close in my mind, and I am going to say Ben Simmons. I'm going to kind of tip my cap to him, but I'm not nodding my whole head. I'm not breaking my neck nodding at Ben Simmons saying, oh, no, you got the defensive category. He is a better defender right now. But Jayson Tatum's not far behind, and I wouldn't be surprised given the fact that we've seen Jayson Tatum sort of grow his defensive game so quickly from last year to this year, nonetheless. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if 5 years from now, Jayson Tatum's by far and away the better defensive player. So we're going to give the point to Ben Simmons here. So right now it's a 1-1. We have scorer, Jayson Tatum. Defense, Ben Simmons. Let's look at athletic ability here now, because this is one that it's closer than you think, but I don't want it to get too hazy. I want you to understand what I'm getting at here. So athletic ability. I'm not trying to talk like straight up just what's your vert, dude. No. What's your sort of size, everything, frame like that? How does that fit into this? And Ben Simmons, obviously, he's the near 7-foot guard. He's fast as hell. He's super athletic. Yes. But Jayson Tatum sort of takes the cake with this one in my mind. He's so built like a scorer. You know, he's got the 6'8" frame, but he's got those long arms to shoot over you. Keyword, shoot over you. I don't care how long Ben Simmons' arms are. He's not shooting over anybody. But in my mind, this sort of frame and athleticism category goes to Tatum. Now, that's one where I feel like I could lose you. Like, what are you talking about? Maybe athleticism isn't the right word, because pure athleticism in terms of like 40 time, speed with the ball, vertical, I'm sure Ben Simmons beats Jayson Tatum in that. But if we're looking at physical attribute, boom, there it is. Physical attribute, not athleticism. If we're looking at how they're built, Jayson Tatum with the broad shoulders, getting more muscular every single season, long arms, and he does have that athletic ability as well. I'm giving it to Jayson Tatum. His build is perfect for his game. Whereas Ben Simmons, it works for him. He's a huge guard. All the power to you. But if Ben Simmons could shoot, I'm sure he'd be getting this category, because he'd be shooting over people too. You can't really get in the face of Jayson Tatum, because a bigger guy, he's going to go past you. A smaller guy, he's going to shoot over you. So 2-1, Tatum. I know that last category was probably a little confusing. I probably should have said earlier on more of just like the physical nature of these guys rather than athletic ability. But let's move on to basketball IQ. Ben Simmons, by far and away. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. By far and away, Ben Simmons, basketball IQ. Ben Simmons has an unreal basketball IQ. He knows when things are going to happen before they happen. He's got that basketball IQ of all the greats that sort of had it. And I'm not saying Jayson Tatum doesn't have it. I'm not saying that. But in terms of being in the right place, the right time, putting the ball in the right place, the right time, Ben Simmons takes that cake. Jayson Tatum isn't really a passer, but that's not what you want him for. So it's 2-2 right now, and we're heading into kind of, I don't know, maybe this is my biggest point. This is why I am taking. So spoiler alert, I'm taking Jayson Tatum over Ben Simmons, which if you've been a listener for a while, this shouldn't surprise you. But the one thing that I'm going to say, and this is my biggest point, it's kind of a two-part thing. So we'll start with the first part. Based on their game, who can you game plan against better, or who's it harder to game plan against? Jayson Tatum. You can't cover him. You can't cover him. In basketball, you win or lose based on the amount of points on the board, not the amount of passes or passes completed or flashy passes being made. Jayson Tatum is the better scorer, and he's an unstoppable scorer. It's not like, he's a good shooter like Kyle Korver, so he's better than Ben Simmons. No, Jayson Tatum's literally an unstoppable scorer. Harder to game plan against. Ben Simmons, as good as he is, and he will even take this game plan and say, shove it and go score anyways. So I'm not kind of knocking him too hard for this, but all you have to do is, sag off of him, let him come to you, and yeah, he's still going to score. He's still going to score because he's a very good basketball player. He's a star. But in terms of game plan, how to cover Ben Simmons. You know what he can and can't do. Offensively, what can't Jayson Tatum do? You're going to be up all night thinking about that. So there's the first sort of part of this last category, and it kind of ties into this. If you had a team of nobodies, if you had a team of, like your boy, 5'9" white guys running around, and you had to pick Ben Simmons or Jayson Tatum to put on that team and try and win basketball games, who are you taking? You're going to take Ben Simmons so he passes to me? I mean, I'll drain the three in the corner gladly, but I only got a couple of those in me. You know what I mean? You're not going to take the guy that likes to give up the ball and can only score from underneath the hoop. You're going to take the guy that can literally get the ball and say, all right, who wants to cover me? Oh, all 5 of you? Sure, I'll just go score on you, because that's what Jayson Tatum has become. So kind of to wrap it up, Jayson Tatum over Ben Simmons to me. And like I kind of said earlier on, Ben Simmons has had the cake for the past 2 seasons. This is a recent change. I'm not basing this off of, a couple years ago, Jayson Tatum's playoff run. Yingling, come on. 3rd time I'm plugging you here. All the free ads for Yingling. But, there we go. Way off topic. But honestly, it's a recent thing for Jayson Tatum. I'm not basing this off of sort of the playoff run that he had where, everyone in Boston sort of salivated over him. I did too. I'm basing this off of what we've seen. What did you do for me lately? Like we said at the beginning of the podcast, what have you done for me lately? Jayson Tatum has pretty much taken a massive leap. Makes Neil Armstrong look like a little pipsqueak walk down the park. Ben Simmons has kind of regressed. He's averaging pretty much under all of his season averages except 4 points, which he's only beaten by 0.3 again. Jayson Tatum, on the other hand, career average, around 15, 14 points a game before this. He's averaging 24. He's upped his total by 10 points. And I hate to harp on it. If you're one of those defense wins championships guys, look at the most recent, probably from the last decade, finals. Defense isn't really the championship winning thing anymore. It's offense. If you can score 150 points, you're going to beat the other team because they're going to score 141. That's the time we're in, and I'm taking the score. I'm taking the absolute stud of Jayson Tatum. Don't get too wrapped up in the numbers. I know I brought them up plenty, but I'm going off of what could these guys do. And like I said, maybe it's fantasy land. Maybe it's stupid for me to be like, oh, my biggest point is that if you took them and put them on a team with a bunch of Evs, who would win? Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I think if you're going to compare one player to another one player, you have to act as if those are the 2 players being compared. It's very similar to when, who's the best basketball player of all time? You're obviously going to say Jordan or LeBron, but no one considers guys like Larry Legend because all you're thinking of is that one guy. Larry Bird probably was the best 5-on-5 basketball player of all time, in my opinion. Very Celtics bias there, but hey, again, my story, I'm sticking to it. So if you're going to say Ben Simmons versus Jayson Tatum, you got to compare them raw. You can't be like, oh, well, if you put them on a team with 2 other all-stars and do the math and Ben Simmons passes 6 times per possession, then we can calculate it and see that, no, he's actually more efficient. No. Give Jayson Tatum the ball, give Ben Simmons the ball, see who can go and score more points than the other team. Case closed. Jayson Tatum over Ben Simmons any day of the week. Thank you guys very much for watching, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are watching, and if you're listening, go ahead and subscribe to the iTunes and the Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere you're listening to your podcast. Please subscribe, do your part, give us a rating, a review, everything like that helps. And you guys have been absolutely awesome. The Unleashed Army is growing, even in a downtime like this. It's getting harder and harder, so I'm surprised to see the podcast still growing. And owe that to you guys, because this, and I'm using air quotes here for people listening, this talent can only take us so far. So, until next time, guys, keep tuning in. Thank you very much. Join the Unleashed Army today.